Have you noticed lately that supermarkets around you seem quieter, with fewer goods on the shelves and prices continuously rising? Essential items like food, medicine, or daily household products appear to be gradually disappearing from store shelves. This is no longer just a subjective feeling, it's a concerning reality. A new wave of shortages is quietly spreading across the United States. Unlike before, when it was mainly eggs, milk, or meat, this time, the list of affected items is longer and more severe. The causes come from multiple angles: changing economic and foreign policies, disrupted global supply chains, and skyrocketing transportation and import costs. If you don't prepare now, you may find yourself unprepared in an economy where even the smallest items become hard to find. Below is a list of 20 items projected to potentially disappear from the US market in the near future. Comment 1 if you're interested in this topic, and don't forget to subscribe and like to support us. Number 20. Eggs. Do you remember late 2022 to early 2023 when egg prices soared, reaching over $7 per dozen in many states? It hasn't stopped there. Earlier this year, a small carton of eggs hit a record $10. That's truly staggering. You might think it was just a temporary shock, but the reality is the egg crisis never truly ended. Now it's back, more dangerous, more insidious. Ongoing avian flu outbreaks continue to devastate farms, forcing them to cull millions of laying hens. According to the USDA, in the first half of Q2 2025 alone, nearly 14 million chickens were culled, and that number keeps rising. Skyrocketing feed costs and surging transportation expenses, driven by trade tensions with Mexico, are adding to the problem. A major supplier of egg production materials for large U.S. supermarkets like Kroger and Safeway has started limiting the number of eggs each customer can buy. The question is, if even eggs, a simple essential item every family needs, are becoming hard to find. Number 19. Dairy products. Many assume milk is the easiest item to find, given the U.S.'s strong dairy industry. But in 2025, milk is becoming scarcer in domestic distribution systems. The reason is the rapid decline in dairy farms, the fastest in over 20 years. Since 2003, the number of dairy farms has dropped by over 55%, with more than 2,000 farms closing last year alone due to rising costs, according to the National Milk Producers Federation. Dairy products like cheese, butter, and yogurt are also in short supply due to scarce packaging materials and limited imports of raw materials from Europe. Supply chain disruptions mean millions of gallons of milk aren't reaching consumers in time. Major producing states like California and Wisconsin report production declines of up to 15% from the previous year. If you have young children or need milk for a special diet, you'll feel this shortage keenly. Check your fridge. How many cartons of milk do you have? And will you be able to buy more easily next week? Number 18. Grains and flour. Imagine a breakfast without bread, cereal, or anything made from flour. This is the reality for many American families. The issue is not just prices but also supply. The ongoing conflict in Ukraine, a global breadbasket, has disrupted the worldwide grain supply chain. While the U.S. doesn't directly import much from Ukraine, global trade is like tightly linked gears. When one link breaks, the entire system is affected. Flour prices in the U.S. have risen over 28% in 18 months, and bread prices are up more than 15% from the previous year. Additionally, drought in Kansas, which produces 25% of the U.S.'s winter wheat, has drastically reduced yields to the lowest in 40 years. Some manufacturers have had to adjust recipes, using less flour, subtly altering the quality of food in ways you might not notice. Number 17. Fresh produce. This is no longer just California's story. The state supplies over 50% of the U.S.'s fresh produce. From Florida to Texas, consumers are paying more for smaller greens, tinier carrots, and unripe tomatoes. 3 consecutive years of erratic weather, from droughts and blizzards to prolonged heavy rains, have disrupted growing seasons, causing severe crop damage. According to the USDA, U.S. produce output dropped nearly 12% compared to 2023, the steepest decline since the 2008 financial crisis. Consumers are also struggling to access fresh food due to rising transportation costs. Many small distributors are avoiding perishable produce, while supermarkets prioritize longer-lasting packaged goods. Many grocery stores in rural and suburban areas no longer offer the variety of fresh produce they once did. This is a sign of a growing gap between people and basic nutrition. Is fresh produce becoming a luxury item in the U.S.? Number 16. Poultry. For years, chicken and turkey have been affordable, nutritious choices for working families. But things have changed since the pandemic, particularly from 2022 onward. The biggest culprit is avian flu. According to the USDA, in 2023 alone, over 58 million poultry in the U.S. were culled due to infection, the highest in history. Supply has plummeted, production costs have soared, and prices are rising monthly. A chicken breast that once cost $2.50 per pound now exceeds $4 and even higher in states like California and New York. Low-income families must think carefully before adding poultry to their carts. Notably, large corporations increasingly control the supply, making it nearly impossible for small-scale farmers to survive. Many are abandoning their farms and selling equipment, unable to compete on price. For consumers, this isn't just about higher costs. It's the uncertainty of whether they can maintain a daily protein-rich meal. The question is, how much longer can we rely on chicken, a basic essential? Number 15. Frozen seafood. For many American families, frozen fish like salmon, cod, or shrimp is a cost-effective way to enjoy nutritious meals. However, over 85% of seafood consumed in the U.S. is imported from Asian countries like China, Vietnam, and India. Global supply chains have not fully recovered from COVID-19. According to NOAA Fisheries, seafood import prices rose by an average of 17% in 2023 due to higher transportation, inspection, and cold chain costs. U.S.-China trade tensions have also slowed shipments at ports, leading to shortages in supermarkets. Some retail chains have limited the quantity customers can purchase. Domestically, fishing regions like Alaska are affected by ocean warming, reducing salmon and crab yields. Traditional fishing communities are abandoning the trade due to unstable incomes. This is not just about rising frozen seafood prices. It's a sign of deeper imbalances in the national food system. Number 14. Baby food. When it comes to baby food, you likely think of formula, cereals, or specialized snacks. In reality, the shortage of these items is becoming increasingly severe. In 2022, the worst formula shortage in decades occurred. Major manufacturers like Abbott, Nestlé, and Mead Johnson faced challenges with raw materials and production capacity. According to the FDA, over 43% of stores nationwide reported formula shortages in mid-2022. The main causes were supply chain disruptions from the pandemic and quality issues at factories. Beyond formula, cereals and pureed fruits also face raw material shortages while demand surges. When shelves are empty, parents worry not only about their children's nutrition, but also face rising prices. A can of formula can now cost up to 30% more, placing a heavy burden on low-income families. Number 13. Canned foods. Canned foods are a quick, convenient option for meals. However, many favorite products are becoming scarcer on store shelves. Data from the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, shows that manufacturers are struggling to maintain production levels. Items like canned beans, meats, and soups are less common due to rising transportation and raw material costs. According to the National Canning Association, raw material costs have increased by 20 to 30%, including packaging and ingredients. Canned foods, once a reliable long-term storage solution, are no longer easy to purchase for a simple dinner. Many families face pressure from rising prices, while quality declines as manufacturers cut non-essential ingredients to keep costs down. Additionally, the trend toward eating fresh organic foods is impacting demand for canned goods. Nevertheless, canned foods remain crucial in the current economic climate, so their scarcity and rising costs are issues to watch closely. Number 12, pet products. Pets today are considered family members, so it's no surprise that spending on them is increasing. According to the American Pet Products Association, the pet industry reached $130 billion in revenue in 2024, a 12% increase from the previous year. However, the prices of pet food, toys, accessories, and medical supplies are rising due to sharp increases in the cost of raw materials like meat and fish, which in turn drive up production costs. This forces many families to think more carefully about their spending, sometimes opting for cheaper products or making homemade toys. Still, most pet owners strive to provide the best care for their pets, as it's not just a responsibility but also a way to show love for their loyal four-legged companions. Number 11. Children's toys. For parents, the joy of seeing their children receive a favorite toy is priceless. However, these gifts are becoming increasingly expensive. According to the NPD Group, toy prices in the U.S. rose by about 12% in 2024 and may continue to climb if supply chain issues persist. A shortage of electronic chips, especially for tech-based toys like robots or remote-controlled cars, combined with rising transportation costs, is the main culprit. Even simple toys like dolls or Lego sets are not immune to price increases. Additionally, longer wait times for stock replenishment make toy shopping more challenging for many families. While not essential, toys remain an important expense, and rising prices are forcing many parents to rethink their shopping habits. Number 10. Kitchenware. If you enjoy cooking or simply want a well-equipped kitchen, you know that kitchenware is indispensable in every household. From pots, pans, and knives to blenders, these items directly impact the convenience and efficiency of meal preparation. However, these products are not only becoming more expensive but also harder to find. According to IBIS World, revenue from kitchenware products in the U.S. increased by nearly 15% in 2024, driven by rising material costs and growing demand for smart kitchen appliances. However, as retailers struggle to import goods from major manufacturing countries like China and India, product shortages are becoming a real issue. Although domestic kitchenware manufacturers are ramping up production, persistent supply shortages continue to push prices higher. Number 9. Furniture. Furniture is crucial for creating a comfortable and cozy living space. While not as essential as food, for many families, purchasing tables, chairs, beds, or sofas is an unavoidable need. However, according to Furniture Today, furniture prices in the U.S. surged by 18% in 2024. Particularly for products made from natural wood or from high-end brands. The main reasons are a shortage of raw materials, sharply rising transportation costs, and a lack of labor in the manufacturing sector. Imported furniture from Asia, a region heavily impacted by the pandemic, also faces significant challenges, leading to limited supply. Replacing a piece of furniture is now not only costly, but also involves wait times that are double or even triple what they used to be. Number 8. Household electronics. Refrigerators, washing machines, microwaves, and dishwashers. These are not just conveniences but essential items in modern life. However, they are becoming increasingly expensive and harder to access. According to the Consumer Technology Association, sales of smart household appliances in the U.S. dropped by 5% in 2024 compared to 2023. The main reasons are a shortage of electronic chips, rising transportation costs, and disruptions in the supply chain. Even major brands like Whirlpool and Samsung are facing challenges. Replacing a refrigerator or washing machine is no longer straightforward. With continuously rising prices and limited supply, many families, including the middle class, must think carefully before purchasing. Household electronics are becoming priority items, yet they are increasingly out of reach in the current economic climate. Number 7. School supplies. From pencils, notebooks, and textbooks to backpacks, these are essential items for every student starting a new school year. However, amid supply chain disruptions, they are becoming scarcer and more expensive. According to the National Retail Federation, the average spending on school supplies in the U.S. in 2024 rose by over 10%, reaching about $700 per K-12 student. The main causes are increased transportation costs, scarce raw materials, and disrupted production, particularly at factories in Asia. Even major brands like Crayola and Papermate have reported supply shortages. A lack of sufficient books or writing materials at the right time can impact a child's learning process. For many low-income families, even a single backpack or set of textbooks becomes a significant burden. This is not just about shopping, it's an issue of equity and access to education. Number 6. Batteries and chargers. Batteries and chargers are no longer minor items. They are essential for phones, computers, smartwatches, and even electric vehicles. However, global supply chain issues are making them harder to obtain. In 2024, the price of lithium-ion batteries rose by over 15%. Major manufacturers in China and South Korea faced disruptions, leading to shortages of wireless chargers and portable power banks. Comment 7. If you rely on power sources, feel that an unavailable charger could disrupt your entire day and are worried about it. Number 5. Over-the-counter medications. Pain relievers, cold medicines, and cough syrups. These are essential products for daily healthcare. However, their supply is currently facing serious challenges. The U.S. over-the-counter drug market has grown by 8% annually over the past 3 years. However, rising costs of raw materials and production have caused over 30% of pharmaceutical companies to struggle with maintaining output. As a result, common medications like acetaminophen and ibuprofen are becoming scarce and more expensive. If one day you have a headache or catch a cold and find no medicine on the shelves, it's not just an inconvenience, it's a warning of a risk to public health. Number 4. Personal hygiene products. You might not think that soap, shampoo, or toothpaste could become scarce. But in reality, supply chain disruptions, fluctuating exchange rates, and rising raw material costs are making these products more expensive and harder to find. About 70% of personal hygiene products in the U.S. rely on raw materials imported from India, China, and Mexico. A survey showed that 45% of U.S. consumers paid more for the same products in the past year. For low-income families, this is a significant burden. As demand rises and supply falls, seeing empty shelves is becoming common. Are you prepared for a day when you can't find your usual shampoo? Number 3. Spices and seasonings. If you think spices and seasonings are merely supplementary, you may not fully grasp their critical role in daily meals. Small bottles of soy sauce, chili sauce, or seasoning powders may seem minor, but they are essential for creating the distinctive flavors of dishes. The concerning reality is that some spices are becoming scarcer than ever. According to a report from the National Retail Federation, spices imported from Southeast Asia, particularly Thailand and Vietnam, are facing supply challenges. The main reasons are supply chain disruptions and soaring transportation costs, causing prices to rise rapidly. Some stores reported spice prices increasing by 15 to 25% in just a few months. Additionally, higher tariffs on spices imported from Asia are further driving up prices and reducing supply. Spices like chili sauce and fish sauce are no exception. Consumers are starting to see emptier spice aisles. We may soon face a future where family meals lack the familiar seasonings, diminishing the flavors we've long enjoyed. Number 2. Snacks and candies. If you enjoy snacking, you may need to rethink your habits soon. Candies, potato chips, and sodas are becoming scarcer on shelves. This situation not only affects snacking habits, but also has a broader impact on the food industry. According to the Snack Food Association, over 60% of popular snacks in the U.S. are made from imported ingredients. Supply chain disruptions and rising raw material costs are the main culprits. Chocolates, cookies, and savory snacks are struggling to maintain supply. Prices for chocolate and chewing gum have risen by 10 to 15% over the past year. If this trend continues, prices will climb further. At the same time, consumer trends are shifting toward organic, low-sugar options, reducing demand for traditional snacks. Major companies like Nestlé, Mondelez International, and PepsiCo are forced to cut costs while innovating products. As a result, your favorite bag of chips or chocolate bar may disappear, be replaced by a more expensive option, or vanish entirely. Prepare yourself. Snacking may not be the same anymore. Number 1. Toilet paper and paper towels. Toilet paper and paper towels may seem like mundane items, but when supply chains are disrupted, their importance becomes clear. Beyond the COVID-19 pandemic, challenges in production and transportation are making these products increasingly scarce. According to the Consumer Brands Association, toilet paper and paper towels are primarily produced domestically, but rely heavily on imported raw materials like pulp from Canada, Chile, and Northern Europe. Shortages of raw materials, port transportation disruptions, and rising costs are creating difficulties for the industry. Reports show that toilet paper prices have risen by an average of 10 to 20% in recent months. The concern is not just higher prices, but the complete absence of products on shelves. Many shoppers have faced empty shelves, an unthinkable scenario for such essential items. This has led consumers to stockpile toilet paper and paper towels, triggering waves of panic buying. Are we about to witness another toilet paper crisis like the early days of the pandemic? What's next? With the prices of essential goods from food to pet products and household items continuously rising, it's clear that life is becoming tougher than ever. While these issues may not be resolved immediately, being aware of the situation allows us to plan our spending more wisely for the future.